Happy Wednesday, people. Welcome to the Kris and Gina Relationship Show, our first post-Thanksgiving show.
That's right.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us. Gina B, we've taken a week off. How are you doing?
I'm good. How was your Thanksgiving?
I didn't know we color coordinated. Today is
We
all
got
black.
the memo.
It's all Black Wednesday.
got
Thanksgiving was good. I ate a lot. I'm back trying to get my girlish figure together. Great topic today. Before we get into the topic, I just want everyone to know what National Day it is.
Oh, I love the
Gina,
national days.
It's National, you'll love this one,
Okay.
National Package Protection Day.
So does that mean you wear a jockstrap or you got
That
to wrap
means
your
watch your FedEx packages, watch your UPS packages.
okay.
Right after Cyber Monday,
I thought you were protecting
everybody
the package.
orders a lot, so, it is what it is.
All right.
It's also, and I don't know if they had this out prior, International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. I didn't make that up. Yet I roll with them. I'm not on the other side. We can't say whose side we're not on because we'll get canceled.
But I think that's okay. Whatever. Anyway. Okay.
All right. The reason this show today, by the way, is trials and tribulations of modern day dating. A lot of folks out here not necessarily satisfied with the dating game, right?
A whole lot.
So
Everyone complains about the dating game.
we have a special guest. I want to bring him in. He is, he actually went to my high school, my brother's class,
And
I believe.
what school is that?
Mendel Catholic,
Chris.
coldest damn high school that ever existed.
The cold.
Brother Saterial Harris, can we bring him in? And it's rare that I come across a Facebook page and I'm like, man, the brother's dropping some knowledge. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Chris. And Gina. I'm doing good. I know it's Gina because I see your name right there.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, man. Thanks for joining. I have buddies of mine who've been on this show. And how many times? I've had to ask them 1,000 times because they think something's up. But I give people the questions. I tell them what's about. It's not that show. I mean, we get into it, right?
We do.
But it's not that type of show. So thank you for joining us.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So you are, I'm glad we have you. I mean, you are in, and I hope you share some of the stuff I've seen on your Facebook page. I thought it was a lot of very introspective things that I saw. You actually made a post. This has nothing to do with the show. Ted from Mendel, Grand Wiz Theo.
Yes,
I had a whole post. Jenny, I put you on this
is
post.
this?
I put up a whole post about people who I thought something, who proved me wrong, and I thank them.
Oh, well,
You were one of those people.
That's right. That's right.
And Ted,
he
he
was
put
one of
up
those
he
too.
put up a
Okay.
similar post, and I was like, oh man. So I
Okay.
like honest people with a lot of integrity. So Gina B is going to start pepping you with questions in a minute when we choose a subject.
I'm
But
always the interrogator.
you are.
What's that about?
I always like to get people to know you are soon to be single.
Yes.
Okay. So you are. This is a good spot. I do want your vantage point. You are not in Chicago. You are in Texas, correct?
Yeah, right out a suburb of Houston, Texas, called Katy, Texas.
Cool.
Texas.
So
Okay.
we did a part one to this, and we had a male and a female guest. We had all these topics lined up, and we got stuck on dating with kids. That was the whole show.
that was that ended up taking. the
So
whole-
tonight we're gonna cover the following. And people listening, if you want to add something, please type it in. We see your questions pop up. We're gonna cover has online dating made it easier or more difficult to date?
Right.
We're gonna talk about men and women, sexual marketplace value.
That's right.
We're going to talk about our gender roles blurred. Do women want too much too soon? Right? Mm-hmm. We can talk about men too if you want to talk about. I'm sure you have some.
I
subject on
mean,
men.
sure.
But
You know, I always have an opinion.
I wrote these questions, and we're talking about our folks too choosy, specifically the female persuasion.
Or the male persuasion.
We can do that too on modern day dating. So
Okay.
your show now,
Just
Gina
so
B.
we're clear.
I would
right.
ad lib where you want to start.
Okay.
You can even use my notes.
Okay. I just want to get some establishing so we know who we're talking to. So, Saterial, thank you for joining, first of all. So, you live in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been there? Because you're from Chicago, correct?
2012.
Oh, you've been there a good little while. So, do you consider
Yeah.
yourself a Texan now?
I thought I had to put in 20 years, but the Texans told me I only had to put in 10, so I get my Lone Star.
Everything's bigger in Texas, so you get you get to claim it quicker. Okay,
Yes.
so Kris said you're soon to be single.
Yes.
Now, what does that mean specifically?
I was married. Remember, my wife got married in 2016. I had never been married before. I didn't get married till I was 48.
Okay.
And we did the normal things. It was pretty cool. And just had to wow through the trials and tribulations of life. We went through a lot down here. I don't want to use that as an excuse. I went through the hurricane, the storm, then you went through COVID, and you don't really know how much that stuff takes a toll on you after a while. I came into a family that was she had already had 2 kids. Well, they weren't kids. When the son was 19 when I met her, and the daughter was 12. And I took on that responsibility with honor. But just the dynamics of a lot of things, and a lot on my part, because I guess I waited too long to get married. 48 years old, you're pretty established with who you are, how you run your ship. And then you're coming into this ready-made family already. And it's kind of like, I'm a very disciplined person. When I say that, very structured and disciplined in how I do things. And sometimes, if they're not used to that, you can be more of a hindrance to them. And, when you ask a mother, I tell it to any man any day, they ask, well, how was my wife? My wife was cool. I'll be honest with you. We didn't really have a lot of problems. She was cool. So I'm saying that right up top. But when you've been a single mom raising your kids so many years by yourself, that's a pack.
Yep.
And if a mother got a choice between her kids and her man, the kid is going to win 100% of the time. And men out here have to understand that.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's always a problem.
It's a challenge. The kids never came to me like, you ain't my daddy. They never disrespected me like that. But you people don't understand. My mother and father, my dad was born in 1929. My mother was born in 1933. So a lot of Christians didn't know this. My parents was almost the age of their grandparents.
Right.
And they came from down south in Mississippi and Arkansas. And I grew up as an only child. My brother's 20 years older than me. I told y'all about him. But I grew up as an only child. So I took on a lot of old school values.
So you're like
and
me,
so,
the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. So those values, I call myself, because you only do what you know. I call myself implementing them over here, trying to be that strong man to come in and save the community and all that. And sometimes you can be met with a certain amount of resistance, not because they don't want it, it's because they don't know that they need it.
Right. Okay.
First off, quick comment. First off, shout out, hats off to you. I have a friend or two who've married someone with children. It's not an easy task to do.
No.
So hats off to you for that, and all men who are doing that. But when you said one thing, and I'm saying this just in case you think about walking down the aisle again, discipline is a good thing. It's what most people need. It's why we have so many people in Chicago, a lot of young men running the streets rampant, because they don't have someone setting that boundaries. And that was your job. That's what you're supposed to do. So good shout out to you on that. I also like to help any of the single brothers out on here, soon to be single, because we got a lot of ladies to come on this show. So and they gonna see this.
Who's he?
I get it. I get it all the time. For the folks out there that Saterial played on Mendel's basketball team. I like a great team. Tell me.
Are you tall? How tall
He's tall. Taller than me. I'm 5'10" on a good day.
You're 6'4". Okay.
Right. So he's in the top 1%. So I just want you to know, we're going to talk about some of these stats on dating. Your height is in the top 1% of men in this country. So I just want to throw that out there when we talk about something you and I disagreed with prior to the show. I apologize. Continue.
Okay. All right. So you, before the show, you shared with us that you have not been dating since your breakup.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've been getting offers, or do you not pay attention to any of the offers that you've received?
So he might be trying to tighten up all his loose ends first.
No, I really, just give you this about me. A lot of people misconceptions about me, and they weren't all misconceptions. I never really had a problem with the female persuasion, but my height, I consider myself to be pretty intelligent. I'm a nice guy, be funny in this. So women was not something hard for me to get. So when I decided to get married, I was committed in my marriage. I tell my friend, they laugh like, what? I said, I never cheated on my wife. I'm not saying it because I'm on TV. I never cheated, because if I wanted to cheat, I would have never got married. I was single. And so I never, and my neighbors would be like, my male neighbor, hey man, let's go out there. I said, I don't go out to clubs without my wife. And they would be like, why? I said, because temptation is there. And I know me and my energy I can draw and attract, even at my age and whatnot. I'm pretty good in shape. I'm 215 pounds. I work out 3-4 days out of the week. So I know what I can do. And so I don't like to put myself in that temptation mode. And ladies, excuse me, I don't want to make it sound like it's being arrogant either. But when me and my wife separated.
You about to be single, brother.
Well, that's okay. I decided, my main thing was I decided that a man, and this is my message I say to men, when you're going through this, you got two choices. You can get bitter and angry at her. You can get bitter and angry at everything but the truth. And so I decided to say, I'm going to become the best version of myself. So I took that time and said, hey, how long is it going to take me? It took me about 6 months to get everything back on track. But I know it's going to take me a couple of years because I want to become, number one, my connection with the Creator. I wanted that to be so tight that I knew that I could look at a mountain and tell the mountain to move. No more guessing. I wanted my mentality to be correct in that I wanted to know that I could do something consistently and with discipline over a period of time. So last year, Kris, you may not know, but at 57, I was weighing 258 pounds. I wasn't fat then. I was just...
No, I saw you speaking somewhere, because obviously you were on the show, and you did look slightly heavy, but then I saw another post, and I think I was even showing the wife. I was like, I think his brother lost some weight. I could see it in your face. Yeah. And similarly, I've done something similar. So I'm shorter than you, so 10 pounds. I recently lost 18 pounds, but I've been trying to, I was doing the veggie juice thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, fitness is a big thing, especially with black men. So again, salute to you, brother. I got some buddies of mine that I'm trying to keep alive a little longer, and I tell them, cigars and whiskey are cool, but we can walk 3-4 times a week. You know what I'm saying?
Chris is very big on the fitness. In fact, one of the things that we debate.
Yeah.
Don't we, Chris?
We do. And this is leading into a topic.
This is
let the folks at home know.
Into a topic.
Okay.
Okay. So, in fact, I'm going to skip down a little bit because this is not leading into this topic.
Right.
This is leading into.
If you want to add something, you want to talk about preferences, men,
open.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about preferences for a second. Let's talk about that because Chris did mention that you're in the top 1% of height. A lot of women are very height focused.
Sure.
And a lot of men are weight focused.
No. Men are looks focused.
Men are looks focused.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, initially.
Yeah.
We won't marry you for that, but we will sleep with you for that.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Let's
and
that's
I
say all that. I do all that. Don't worry about it.
That's the clearinghouse.
I do all that.
That's the clearinghouse, though, right? Like, so if men are not physically attracted to a woman, then
we might sleep with her depending on that.
Well, y'all will
much.
sneak and sleep with a lot of different people.
All right, whatever. All right, go ahead.
He's right. We will sneak and sleep.
Yeah, y'all will just sneak some chick out the back door that doesn't look right, but you might enjoy the night with her.
Find one. If you find one good feature post 30, we hitting.
One good feature. She got teeth.
Well, that's the
problem. I like a woman with teeth.
That's the problem with online dating. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a second. Right. So now, I think both sides are vilified for preference.
Sure.
And the question becomes, should men be as superficial? Should women be as superficial? Because the thoughts are that men have always been very looks focused, and now women are becoming more looks focused. And is that something that should be happening?
I want our guest to go first, but go ahead, and then I'll weigh in after that.
So, the question is, should men and women be focused on looks?
Well,
what's the exact question?
Yeah, I mean, are we both too superficial with our preferences when choosing a mate, especially over a certain age?
I don't think so. I'll tell you why. When you're first meeting somebody, you're not choosing a mate. You're just seeing somebody like, do I have an interest in her? Or does she have an interest in him? I think I lost you guys.
No, you're here. We're here.
You got
okay.
Up, brother. You got close up.
Yeah, we're spotlighting.
Jake is good. When we know when he about to hear something good, we let you roll on. Go ahead.
So
Jake,
go
back to that.
You got it.
Yeah.
So preferences, men, they have a preference for looks. And I always say this to women. I heard Kris mention sexual marketplace value. And I have a place sister that I talk to a lot about this. Women, your highest sexual marketplace value for a woman is in her younger days. Men look for beauty in youth. Okay, that's just how it is naturally. That's by nature. Women by nature look for provision and protection. That's why you would find that a lot of women are more prone to want taller men, even though they're only like 5'1" or 5'2", because they feel like they can be more protected, which is not the truth. That doesn't mean that a guy is protective as a tall guy could be, but that's just what nature is. And so a man is going to go for what he looks at first. Now, after he gets past the initial stage of looks, he wants to know about the person, you know. And so that's where, right there, where a lot of times, a lot of males can't get past that, because the male is still looking at the looks. The man is looking at the woman. Is she nice? Is she compatible? In other words, do we share similar values? And I like to use the word values and vision. You know, you want to find out, talking to them, you know, on the phone or whatever, what's your values? You know, and I'm not saying that if I was a Muslim and she was a Christian, I'm not saying that we still couldn't connect with each other. What I'm saying is that at least we do have the similar values, and that there is a creator and there is a God. You know, I don't know if I can make it with an atheist. Okay, so that's just that. Now, as far as women,
I always tell brothers,
go ahead.
Even if a woman isn't in the church, find somebody who was at one point. You know, that's a big thing for me.
Well, for you.
I know it's not for you, but for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, everyone's got their thing, right?
Anyway, I want. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. So, do you, like, at a certain age, do you feel that women do overestimate their sexual marketplace value?
Woo!
Well, I just want to say,
He reacted strongly to that. Go ahead.
I agree with everything he said. Right. I would like to add that, you know, men and women, I agree with the preferences he stated.
Okay.
And traditionally, now, does that sway a little bit from this man to that man to this woman? Sure. Mm-hmm. But all in all, like he said, more women want people taller than you. You know, my wife, she don't like me mentioning it on the show. She's 5 feet tall, but she dated dudes his height, right? I dated women my height, right? So It is what it is. What you like. But today, and women, I think, and I know we're going to get into it on the online factor. I think women, specifically black women, because that's what I know, right? I think they are acting more in a masculine nature than in years past. And I always say, men have been the same. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian. Men have been the same simple-ass creatures since the beginning of time. Women, since we're talking about modern-day dating, the feminist movement, which is mucking it up for women, they have changed. Some of them have taken on masculine energies.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
You see a lot of them, they're a lot more combative. Right? A man, if you get a good man, a high-character man, you don't even need money if you're a woman. When I was 16, if I had $37 in my pocket, I would spend $36.59 if I liked the girl.
Right.
I tell my daughters, you want to get a man to do something, you don't buck him up chest to chest and shout him out, because he's programmed to go at that. You rub him on the cheek and say, baby, don't you want to do this? It goes a long way, right? Well, but today, and I'll say this since we brought it up, women get confused when they sleep with a man these days, because we have a lack of fathers in the household letting them know just because you sleep with a man doesn't mean he want to marry you. So you got women out here, and no shade against sisters, the facts are what they are. They are the most out of shape group of any. It is what it is. The average height and weight is 5'4", 190. Why do they deserve? Well, hell yeah. It is what it is. Okay. Why? Oh, let me tell you this. Why would the 1% man? You think he doesn't know what his marketplace value is?
Of course he does.
So why would he pick you?
Listen, I am not saying that. Okay.
But and this was
you've made a couple of points.
I want to hear you weigh in on this. You know how we feel about it.
Yeah, I know how you feel about it.
But wait, last thing I want you to consider. And I want you to address it.
Okay, if you let me talk, I will.
On online dating, women, I don't believe in women choosing men, but they have the ability online. The top 20% of men are where all the women are choosing. So
Yes.
they think this group that they deserve the most handsome, the guy who makes the most money. They only pick the top.
That's marketing, though, in a lot of ways.
No, you can look up any site. Go to OkCupid. Some sites it's the top 1% of men. So what women are saying is, well, these men, they intimidated by me. They this, that, and the other. No, those men, if they're being good or bad, they might sleep with a few of them. But when they choose to pick one of them, they're going to choose their best option. I met Maya the singer.
All right. So you have hit on about 4 topics.
I did.
Okay. So let's back up and systematically address all of them. Okay. All right. Let me go all the way to the back. So the first thing that you wanted to talk about was women have more masculine energy and gender roles are blurred. That was for one topic you hit. Okay. Right. So we've discussed the reasons why that is, right?
Well, I want to hear why you think women think or why they're choosing.
I am systematically going through all the points.
Well, we didn't hear your viewpoint on that one.
I'm trying to systematically go through all of the points that you addressed.
Because you were slightly probably test higher than me on the standardized test, I will let you go ahead.
A lot higher. Anyway, so, all right, let's break it all the way down. Women of a certain generation were told and taught by their mothers who were of the generation where women were starting to get divorced and they were finding themselves ass out with no money. Maybe they didn't get the child support. I'm talking about the people that raised the women that are between 40, and these women that are of this generation are between like 35 and name a high number, right. 55, whatever. Okay, so because of that, But what the women didn't teach the girls, especially the ones that had been divorced from their fathers, is that there is a specific division that you have to make between being effective and aggressive at work, where you study, you get a good job, you don't worry about a man, blah, blah, blah. Don't start talking. I know you were about to. But they were not taught that there's a balance between not bringing that into your relationship. So that's one. Okay, so the one thing is, while women grew in stature, as far as their kind of work life and rising to executive levels, and the things you have to do with that, that is a good thing.
That's an excellent thing.
But there are a lot of people that bring that into their relationship, which is not a good thing, because that is not the way to operate when you're dealing with the man in a male-female scenario. Okay, so that's one point.
You should teach a class. You are one of the few. But you know why you're one of the few? Because your dad was there.
Yes, my father was present.
And these women who didn't have a dad, all they saw was somebody, just like the young men in the street, killing and robbing and carjacking.
This is what I said.
All they see is a lady yelling on the phone at somebody. That's how they control their testosterone.
Yeah. So that is one thing. So that's the reason why a lot of that is going on. Okay, so that's the inception of the blurred lines. Now, second part of that is a lot of women who are those women who have been trained to be very successful, smart, etc., right? Part 2 is that they judge themselves and they feel that they should be judged in the same way that men are judged, because that is what they feel should happen in the workplace, okay? But problem is, men don't necessarily care for
we ain't never changed
that energy. Okay, so
we don't judge. We don't pick a wife because of what she makes.
Well, okay, exactly. I've heard a lot of women, and they don't like when I rebut this, but I've heard a lot of women say, I don't know why he doesn't want to date me. I mean, I've got a great job. I've got a nice house. I'm like, all that is great if you are a man.
Right.
Right? Like, you've got to focus on, how am I going to physically attract that man? Because like it or not, that is what men are attracted to. They're attracted to the physical.
And we're almost, and I want to get Saterial's view on this. I think successful men are almost devalue strong, independent women, because they tend to be, and again, this is only for the ladies who have a God-fearing man and who will jump in front of a bullet, not some dude you sleeping with. They tend to be less, I don't even want to say submissive, but they tend to be less submissive. They argue. And men don't need gifts. We don't need cars. We need somebody that's like, I really appreciate you. That's it. But they tend to, their mouth get them in trouble.
Right.
Even if I like the way they look, I won't even, if I was single, I wouldn't even date.
And so Ira Brown says, I want physical and a woman that brings something. Well, yes. So where that would come in
Yo, what up, Noob?
If you always got to signify.
Don't hate.
Yes, as a woman, if you're kind of doing this correctly, right? Correctly, I shouldn't say that. But like if you're doing this kind of the way that you'll be successful, you will be both a person who is kicking ass at work, but also somebody who can leave some room for the guy to be his definition of a man, right? Like, it's just what Nikki Turner says. How about instead of submissive, you think of it in terms of leaving space for the man to be a man? Exactly.
No, Nikki Turner, that's not it. In terms of husband and wife, they need to be submissive.
And what is that definition for you? And Saterial, I want to hear from
Saterial, you want to weigh in, or you want me to answer this or you want to answer?
Your show. I apologize.
Submissive, if you can tell.
He's more patient than me, and that's because he's a little wiser than me. I'm working on that, but I get triggered. Submissive is a good thing.
Yeah.
So somebody tried to call me out. This is an example on Facebook. Kris, you got 3 daughters. What if you're a 19-year-old? What if a 30-year-old man wants to marry your daughter? And I said this. If he loves her and wants to marry her at 19, he'll wait till she finishes school. Right? Number 1. 2, if he's a God-fearing man, and if she thinks he can head her life, if he's smarter than her, if he has, and he'll jump in front of a bullet for her. And if she felt, God, if something happened to my father, that man is going to make sure everybody's okay. And he's the most capable person ever. And he's, without, I would say, God bless, marry that man as soon as you finish your school. Because women have an issue with a man taking the lead. That doesn't mean you're less than Miss Turner. And Nikki Turner's awesome, by the way. Shout out to Nikki Turner.
Hi, Nikki Turner.
She gets on my ass every now and then, but she's a great person. But we butt heads. That's okay. But if it's a man that you trust and believes in, and that man has, and this is for me, Nikki, he has the Lord as his guide, and he's never going to lead you astray and do you wrong, why wouldn't you follow him? Why wouldn't you submit to him? Because a man who loves you would not do you wrong. He's not going
intentionally.
See, that's that half one toe in the water thing. But
no, it isn't. It is not, because part of the whole thing is you are both infallible people, and sometimes the woman or whoever.
But I'm smarter than you.
Sometimes, but who's smarter than who?
You want a man to make more money? Yes. You want a man who's taller? Yes. You want a man who's more successful? Yes. You want a man who's smarter? No. Who does that? Nobody. You want a man who's smarter than you.
Okay.
Brother Harris, what do you say?
She was about to say something. I'll answer the one thing Nikki just said. How you doing, Nikki Turner? How about instead of submissive, you think in terms of leaving space for the man to be a man? I think everybody has to answer that question on their own according to their personality. I know a lot of women today, they've made manhood into something that is bad. If you took the terms like most people use, I'm a very dominant man. And that's because that's just who I am. It does make me better than any other man. But when a person says submissive does not mean less than. Submissive means that in the Bible, it means yielding. Because God understood that the femininity is more powerful than the masculinity. The masculinity, once the masculinity is detached from the Creator, he doesn't have his power anymore. So God knows that the feminine energy is stronger than the masculine energy. So when he asked the woman to be submissive, he's asking the woman to yield because he understands the power that she has. And so from even a biblical point of view, and I'm not a church boy or holy roll, I'm just, as I say, I like to consider myself somewhat intelligent, is that he asks her to be submissive, yielding. It's kind of like when you get at a yield sign. You don't have to stop, but we yield out of courtesy. And if that's what makes it work, and God is asking a woman, I need you to make this work, then that's what a woman should do. The problem is so many women and men, we all claim to be something underneath the Creator, but we don't act that way. As my friend Tony Martin said to me, I hear you with my eyes, okay? not my ears. Mouth will say anything.
Yep.
And so when you hear women say, I want a God-fearing man. Well, first of all, what is a God-fearing man?
What does that even mean?
I'm not a God-fearing man. I just follow his instructions. It's very simple. The other thing that I have on my flesh and my carnal part, it doesn't sit well with me, but I get it. Let him be a man. You can't let me be a man.
Right, exactly.
I am a man.
Right.
And so when a woman talks in those terminology, and Nikki made it mean anything by it, but I'm just expressing it for the other women that are listening. When you let me be something, it means that I'm operating at a position of you're already ahead of me.
Yep. And
so you're not. So you don't let me be. In my opinion, it's always is my way the highway or it's no way. Now a woman can take it the way she wants, because when a man builds something, and I always tell young guys that they call me school down here, these young guys, old school. What would you suggest? And I tell them, I say, if I was your age again at 21, I would spend probably 5 to 10% of my time focusing on women in relationship. What should we do? I say you should be working on becoming the best version of yourself and amassing for yourself success and wealth, whatever that is to you. Why? Because when you're in your 20s, you have nothing to offer that woman. That's why women traditionally have always dated up. When a woman tells you today she's been to Dubai, Greece, Italy, and she makes $50,000 a year, best believe some older guy paying for it, or a father. Because I know how far money goes. And a 21-year-old guy making $45,000 a year can't afford that for that woman. But a woman wants that. And so she's going to get that. And so I tell men, work on becoming the best version of yourself. Once you become the best version of yourself, you will be considered a high-value person. And the women that you're looking for are already looking for you.
Right.
Does it make sense to you?
All day.
It totally makes sense.
That was a great answer, by the way. I almost wanted to say, man, when you come to the shot, I need you to come in the studio. I'm going to take that week off. That was well put, brother.
No, that was well said.
That was well said.
So we've got some comments from the audience. And so Nikki Turner says, well, let's go to the other one up there.
First, I want to say shout out to Candace Freeman. She cursed me out earlier this week on Facebook, but she's a really nice lady. We made up. Shout out to Patricia Aaron.
Okay, we can shout them out when we get
I shout out during the show.
Okay.
Go ahead.
She says, never said anything about taking the lead because you have to know that the woman leads as well.
No, she doesn't.
No. That is, that's Nikki's.
That doesn't work for me.
I'm not disagreeing with it. That's a
Well, I think that we can lead differently.
No, you don't lead. No. You don't lead. It's like somebody saying I got 2 chefs in the kitchen, and I say this at home. I hate, I'll get in trouble at home, but she don't like. Saterial's like, is Gina be your wife? I'm like, no, my wife don't like her name mentioned on here. However, I will say, this is marriage only. This is not dating, Nikki. There can't be 2 chefs in the kitchen. You just got to know.
My husband gets kicked out.
You got to know that you married someone who has, whether it's you and him or the family's best interest at heart, and he's well qualified to do it. And it's just like you making a decision of yourself. When you get married, the reason you get married is not so you can have eternal happiness. You know life is hard enough on your own, and you made a choice. I trust and love and respect this person so much. I want to go through life's troubles with them. Happiness ain't promised. It's work.
Right, but see, I don't believe that applies in every situation. Like, so, for example, over the course of your life, right, and every single subject, like, there are certain things that, my husband, sure, he can lead on them. But there are certain things where, hell no. No, you can't lead on that because you're not the leading authority.
But if your husband, and that's true, same as in my house. But those things, a good leader, an honest leader, knows what he's weak in. I was the first to say, man, that ain't my subject area. I need you to take the lead on that. I'm here to support. But you will not.
But doesn't that mean that he also knows when to concede?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But you're not going to say, but he made a decision to concede. You're never going to tell him to concede.
Like she made a decision to be submissive.
Listen, what you all are doing right now is why a lot of women don't have somebody. And it's men out here.
I'm not really.
I'm not saying that they. Hold up, Gina B.
Oh, Lord.
Gina B out the game now. Yeah, I see. She just got married. But
I did.
But listen, I'm serious. There are a lot of good men. There are a lot of good women, and they are finding each other over something as insignificant as that. If a woman has to question a man leading her that much, she should marry him.
Well, yes. Okay. So Mina made a point earlier, further up, where it says
It doesn't work any
something
other
to the
way.
effect of. Yeah, keep going. Okay, I believe a lot of women right there.
Candace Freeman showed up. Hold on, we got to see
Mina,
what Candace said.
Mina says,
After Nina, go
I
to
believe a lot of women wouldn't have a problem submitting to their man if they felt safe and secure in their man's leadership, to your point, right?
Mina, say yes to men who deserve it. First off, dating is different. A woman should never submit to someone she's dating.
Hell no.
This
Definitely
is a
do
marriage
not.
thing I'm talking
Definitely
about.
do not
I got
submit.
3 daughters. Hell no. You do not.
But the purpose of dating, well,
Right, but
one of the purposes of dating is to kind
You're
of
interviewing.
Yes, you are. You're interviewing and you're watching things.
But you ain't going to work yet.
Like, yeah, you're just kind of seeing where decisions are made, how they're made, what are the
Correct.
what are the decision factors. Would that be someone that I would allow to make decisions in my life
Correct.
for my own personal safety?
If not, if he has
and
to
for
marry
growth.
you, say no.
Right. Exactly.
That's it. That's that.
Yeah.
Candace Freeman, thanks for joining the show. She says, I like the way that it was rephrased well. I said that too. I give me an asshole, Candace. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes.
Leaving space for a man. No, you don't leave space for a man to be a man. That part is not, I don't agree with either. A man is going to be a man. He will just not deal with you if you're not what he wants. I mean, you control access to sex. We control who asks you to
Holy.
marry.
My
There's
husband
so many
says
women
he's-
who want that a man who can be the one to head the household and lead. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it, Candace. Men, we get duped by women. I was an 8th degree Jedi Knight player. But have there been women who broke my heart or women who I probably spent too much on? Absolutely. We just rebound. I go to if 9 women did a man wrong, that the 10th woman, he's gonna put his all out there. Women, for whatever reason, they hold the sins of the bad men against the good men. 1 out of 2 relationships now start online. We talked about this, Gina B and I. The women online who are tapping men on the shoulder, which is a bad idea. Let's make sure we save time for that. 80% of women now are saying that they're bypassing, they're only picking 10 to 20% of men. So they're leaving a lot of good men out here because they're superficial. And I will say this, and I stand on it, they're caught in their masculine ways. But let me tell all the ladies listening, the good men, the men that you want, the God-fearing, I make a lot of money, the handsome man, the well-raised man, the man that never do me wrong man, the man that don't cheat man, he don't like women with a mouth.
He also usually isn't online, but that's a whole different
But my point is, no, she can't. Well, that's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different thing. He doesn't need to be on.
He doesn't like someone challenging him. He doesn't like strong and independent because men are hardwired to
He likes you to shut the fuck
No,
up.
men are hardwired. You want to please a man, I tell my daughters, just let him do something for you. Men are hardwired, ladies, to want to feel needed. And when you say, I don't need a man, I'm strong and independent, that's not a turn on a man. So, it is what it is.
Let me interject something, and that is true. Both of you guys, everybody got great points. I mean, but who are you marketing your point to?
That is the question. It's
Okay,
marketing.
if I'm looking for a wife, I need to understand a woman's point of view. If a woman is looking for a man, she needs to understand a man's point of view. I spent 20-some years in sales, and when you're in sales, you do more listening than talking.
You should.
Now, it gets to the point now, who are out here doing the most complaining about relationships? I'm noticing a lot of men are catching up to women.
They are.
Talking
They
about.
are. Yes,
their-
they are.
And that's because we have a lot of simp mangina males out here now.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
I call them simp manginas.
Hold on. What did I just tell you?
Okay, calm down.
What did I call somebody else? I
And
felt
let me-
bad because one of my guys,
Was mad.
Yeah,
We're
because
talking about. But dude, I mean, don't be a simp. Don't be caught up.
What did Jay say? You better stop that simping and get to pimping.
I tell, bro, I'm like, bro,
Jay
don't get caught up. First off, women don't even like simps.
No.
They like real motherfuckers. They say they like simps, but they ain't fucking. Excuse me.
Yeah.
They ain't fucking no simps. It is what it is.
So, and the process is very simple. That I would say, and I said, Kris, you made a good point when you talk about your daughters, but I always say it to men. The very thing that we complain about in women, you fathers raised your daughter to be that way. You just put her up on a pedestal and told her, well, if you love her 30-something, he will wait. No, if she love him and he can provide the security and protections you want, she got to get ready.
That's the truth. I'm not there yet.
Right.
At 19.
I know it's not.
I know my flaw.
But I'm not picking on it. I'm just saying.
But that's right.
At a woman 19 years old, you have a very short span, a window of opportunity, and women don't want to face
10 years. Maybe 10 years.
Maybe 10. Because number one, you got biological things you're dealing with.
We did this show, Saterial, and I sat here, you were here, and I'm
always here.
The best time, if women know, the best time to catch a man is when they look good, and like he said it earlier, we're less caught in our ways. The older we get,
Right.
is 19 to 27.
Just try to make sure
Y'all
you look
jump
good.
down my throat. Yes
No?
or no?
I mean,
Yes.
no, we didn't jump. Well, okay.
Yeah, y'all did.
I'm trying to remember the specific title of that
Chantel
show.
was sitting over
Oh,
there.
Chantel was here.
Shout out to you, Chantel. I know you're in Vegas.
She's in Vegas.
But
She's part of the
Let me-
She's
Feminati.
talking to Ursher.
let me share this part. That's not a bad thing for women. It's not bad. But
That's a biased market for women.
it's because women have went into, because of growth, and I always tell men that they say women ain't submissive anymore. Well, women have never been submissive by choice in the history of mankind.
Nope.
Because of your culture, it has made women become submissive back in the day. If you were talking you over in the Middle East with the Sunnis, you ain't talking like this as a woman. You're going to bow down. But in America, we offer what's called freedom. And America's become very liberal. So now women have choices, and the choice they are making is, I don't want to be that traditional woman. And men got to accept that. But also, too, women got to accept this. Men have not made the adjustment yet to the modern woman, while she still demands that he still be the traditional husband.
We've
We don't want to be
ratcheted
your
up our
father.
requirements.
If you don't want to be like our mama, we don't want to be like your father.
Well,
So we're not gonna. So you want to bring the game to?
Our
Go ahead.
requirements have been ratcheted up, right?
Why?
Now, here's why. Because let's go back. Let's back up a little bit. Remember earlier we were talking about how we were raised by women who told us not to worry about men and blah, 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 and to make your own money. Okay, stop. Okay, this is what our mothers influenced, right? Irrespective. My mother influenced that, even though I had my father in that. I did. Okay,
That's a big difference.
But my point is, because women are more successful right now than we were in the past, as in totality, as a species, right? The concept of being a king to submit to, it's a lot different. Like our requirements are higher, because now it's like, can you lead my life better than I would lead my life? And a lot of men can't do it. So there's a lot of men who want to be kings, or they want queens, but they don't know what it means to be a true king.
Hold on 1 second. Why do you say that?
What do you mean? Why do I say that?
Men make more than women. Women have more education.
Not all the time.
No, stop. There are more black women in poverty than black men. The average black man makes $50,000. The average black woman makes $44,000. You want to go 25 to 40? There are 10,000 more black men making over $100,000 than black women, even though more of us are in prison, more of us are in jail. So that whole money financial thing, that is a cop-out for women to justify their condition, because no one is choosing them.
I'm talking about a specific echelon of women.
I'm talking about all women. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, they're the most, black women are the most honest. Men are looks creatures. So if the black man makes more money still, he shouldn't. That's only because men make more than women. But he does. It is what it is. And that's the most out of shape group. And you know we're the most in shape group. Why are you so choosy then? Because you have an inflated view.
Have you looked at your peers?
Hold on. The black men are not. Hold on.
Anyway,
other than Asian men, black men are the most fit group. Other than Asian men, you can look it up. Y'all go by what you feel. I go by the facts. So
I'm
I
just
will
looking
say
around
this,
at the club. That's
black
what I'm
women
telling
are the most out of shape group. You got a woman out there right now. She's only checking 5, 6'4", this, that, and the other. It's not a diss to her, but they're leaving a glut of good men out here. And here's why. They no longer have the ability to, because everybody works from home. They can't flirt with you. You can't see his humor. They losing out.
Well, I mean,
everybody's
I think
losing
that's,
out.
but here's the thing. Then that becomes their problem. Because if you are hunting in a pond that has no fish, or, I mean, if you're fishing in a pond that has it's not stocked, right? To not mix my metaphors.
Well, that is so wrong of it.
What?
The fish that she wants,
Are in
whoever
the
some
pond.
of these women want, that dude they looking at, when he closed his eyes, he ain't dreaming about her.
Okay, well, if you are stupid enough to continue to fish in an area where there are
That's
no
what
fish,
women do.
then that is their
I
problem.
know dudes 55 years old living in their mama basement.
That's their problem.
Now they say, hey baby, to every chick that walk by. But eventually, like, how did he pull her? Wanna know what men do when they want a woman? All of us, since the beginning of time,
Squad.
pick a race. No, we will say, I want to get married. What are my options? See, you don't hear men say, I'm not gonna settle. What we will do is say, what are the best of my options? Now, my option might be one leg, a woman, one leg in a kickstand, but I'm going to find me somebody. Black women especially, the only group sitting around saying, I ain't going to settle. No, you ain't got to settle. That's your choice. But the dudes you thinking about, he ain't going to never pick you. And if your singledom is better than your loneliness, stay that way.
I mean, but that's the realization they have to at some point come to.
And I'm tired of women complaining, and I'm out the game. I ain't got shit to lose. But if you want a man, there's some good men. We had a guy in the studio. Charlamagne name is doing really well.
Yep.
But he's a shorter man, makes a lot of money. I live in a neighborhood with a lot of big ass houses. And my wife and I see these women like, damn, they were dimes back in their day. They husband's short. I'm like, yeah, but she chose private school. She chose that big ass house. She's taking big vacations. It's a man for you out here, but you caught up in your masculine energy. The woman is supposed to look better than the man.
Well,
My
yeah.
oldest daughter
The woman
dated
is supposed
some
to look.
butt ugly
The
dudes.
point of a man is not
but
to
they
be
was
fine.
class
I say this
president.
all the time.
What was that?
The point of a man is not to be fine.
Tell these other women.
That is not the point. If you've got a fine man, you're lucky that you have a fine man, and that's nice icing on the cake. But that is not the reason
Tell my wife that.
why you should be looking
Give me
at
some
him.
points. Come on.
Oh, my humble co-host.
I ain't humble at all. I ain't
You're
saying
so
I'm a
humble. What's William Singleton? The ones making north of 150K, they're open. They're opening everything but their pocketbook. Is that what you're saying, sir?
What?
I don't understand.
Well, you sounding funny right now, bro. What are you talking about?
And then, of course, my husband likes to chime in and say that I'm lucky.
Uh-oh, you are lucky.
Well,
I've met Lee Farmer. You're indeed lucky. Shout out to Lee.
shout out to Lee.
You go home and be submissive and make him.
He's sick right now. I've been submissive for the last 3 days.
So wait a minute. Speaking of Saterial, when you do start dating, top 5 qualities you want in a woman.
Yeah, what
Jay, give us a highlight. We don't need to talk during this.
Oh, honey, I hope you feel better.
My top 5 qualities, being a lady. That's the only thing it is, just being a lady. I don't really have anything against women. It's just whatever they choose to do, it either fits in the program that I have set aside for me in my life. Because remember, it's about me choosing what I want, the best version for my life. If a woman doesn't fit that, I have no qualms against her. I'm not mad at her, anything like that, but it's just not a fit for me. I would like her to be healthy, because as we get older, whatnot, because health is a very big concern. All the other things, I mean, everything else is cool, If she's not submissive, it's just not a good pick. It's just not a good pick at all.
So let me ask you, do you have a physical type?
When I was younger, I did. I've had women different. I've had light skin, long hair, Creole looking, athletic women, shorter women. I mean, I like energy. I'm a person. What's that new word they be using out here now? They call it, start with an S. sociosexual, whatever that called.
Sapiosexual.
Yeah.
Sapiosexual.
Hold on. What's that?
Sapiosexual is
the
when
hell
you're
is that?
attached to the mind.
I just found out the other day a
I-
girl hit me with that.
Is he saying that?
That's what I think
He
he's
in the
saying.
gym all the time. He ain't that deep. No, I'm playing. I'm messing with you, dog.
I mean, I get turned on by a woman's intellect. Not her talking about her intelligence, just by her ability to know that she's intelligent. Where, that turns me on, her intelligence. Those are the things. I don't like a promiscuous woman. I don't like the woman who has to go out here and show her body off all the time.
Hold on, stop.
Yeah.
That we did a whole show on body
Yes,
count.
we sure did.
And y'all fought me again.
I did not.
No.
What?
And women will try to tell
You
you
get
why
mad about
you're
that, bro.
insecure.
I just say that there's
Hold
always a
on.
multiplier.
Wait a minute,
that's all.
Jake. We need one more. We got a couple of Jake. I need one more solo. I want you to talk about your views on promiscuous women because they think, they can act differently. We know who's what. Anyway, I want to hear his views on why he doesn't want promiscuous women because they need to hear this because they out here sneaking and freaking too much.
Well, they're gonna. That's one of the reasons why I think women should get married when they're younger. Because when a woman says, "I just want to live my free, independent life," and all this and that, in translation, and I'll say this because it may come across like I'm being humble now, but in my ism and what I call the P, it translates to me that all she did was rode on the cock carousel for 20 years.
Absolutely.
And now-
Absolutely.
Not the cock carousel.
I'm telling you, but
cannot.
And then what happens is when she finds out that the streets or the guys in the streets don't want to wipe her up and she tired, because a woman will get tired. Because she get tired, when she get about 35, now she thinks she can just go to the shelf and pull off some candy as a man and say, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to church now. I'm going to be celibate now. I'm like, no. Before you was selling a bit and they was buying a bit. So now you're going to try celibacy on me?
That's why they have to move.
Yeah.
But they act the same. I'm
act
telling
the
you,
same
you
in
cannot
every way.
hide being a hoe.
Yeah. And I mean,
Who is she
everybody
going to
experiences
See, the going is my peeps.
Everybody
She's one of the good
experiences
ones.
it, and that's cool. But women have to understand that these are the consequences that come along with it, and men can feel that energy, and so they don't want that. Just like when I talk about promiscuous in her dressing, when a woman goes out looking provocative, she don't understand. She puts her man in a dangerous situation because while you out there, other men that are there that are looking at you. 'Cause my mother's always say, you get addressed the way you dress. And they may be coming on to the woman like, hey, what's up, baby? What's up? And they may not even see you there with her. And sometimes they may. And so now she japping off. I'm with my man. Leave me alone. Now you put me in a position where I got to defend you. When I told you at the house, don't wear that shit with me. Don't even wear it anyway, because you're putting yourself out there in a position where men, because I am a man, we're going to look at you differently. You can fool us, but you fool us first with the way you look.
I got two younger daughters, 12 and 14. We were in a Mariano's. I stopped them. Young lady, might have been 30, if that. Walks by, just very provocatively. They saw two men looking. One of them tried to holler at. I said, this is a teachable moment. I said, you see that? When you dress like that, I call it fast women for them.
I know.
I said,
You don't call them hoes.
men will give them all the attention in the world, but those same men will never marry them. And
No, they
did
will.
that.
They will.
Well, a dumbass. The only, you know what? 50 years ago, we didn't have this conversation because men who made something of themselves really had to avoid a lot of sharks. They were smart men. They were men who. These men, you might get a guy who looks up and he might make it into the league. He's not that bright, but he's 19. So there's
But they still appreciate stripper culture.
But my point
especially
is,
when women
there's
get
a
this
market. If I'm a fast woman, there is a market for simp. John Johnson wasn't doing that.
Right, but
You know what I'm saying?
we're also in stripper culture.
No, it doesn't matter. Back
We are.
then,
That's where a lot of these women get this from.
my
No.
point is, back then, men who had money, they avoided so many sharks you couldn't trip them up. There are some men out here you can trip up. It's a market for that.
Absolutely, there are men you can trip out.
Right,
100% there
it was
are.
way difficult. Go ahead.
Chris,
sorry.
I'm gonna back up Gina on this one when she said we're in a stripper culture, and we men we help create that culture. If anybody ever seen my Facebook post, women always say, you're so misogynistic towards women. I say, no, I'm an equal opportunity caller. I call balls, balls, and strikes, strikes. We created this culture, a lot of us men. I'm going to tell you why. The number one social currency in the world today is attention. Social media allows you to have it. When we had the good girl that lived next door to us, the good girls were taught, be good, be respectful, be wholesome, and you will get a good man to want to marry you, date you, court you, and take you out. Well, a lot of us men, what we did was we left the good girls and our next door neighbors sitting in the house while all the quote unquote whole culture girls got to go out to the clubs. They got free drinks. They got dinner. Flew out. They went to the Bahamas. They went to the fights. They did all the fun stuff. While the good girl is sitting at home to my, wait a minute, I did everything right that my mother and daddy told me to do. And I'm sitting here alone with nothing. And then it got to the point where even the girls who had the quote unquote horror culture, they started getting married. So now the good girl's like, whoa.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
You can't truly
not
turn
only
a
am
home
I
into a
dating-
house.
Hey, wait a minute. That was profound. I was sitting here talking
It's
to
the truth.
Gina. I said,
It's the God's honest truth.
I definitely contributed
It is. I contributed
to
to
the
it.
whole culture. I
Yeah,
did.
no, but it's the truth. It's like there's
definitely
no
did.
prize for being a woman who.
Wait a minute. I want to go ahead.
And then we're really over time, is what we are.
Well, I want to shout out some of our guests. Jay, could you roll back? Sheila Gordon made a comment. Hey, Sheila. Sheila, I didn't like how you said this, Sheila. You tried to stop there at the bottom.
Tasha and Kris.
Sheila, I did not. Sheila, I didn't tell you to go dress like these. Sheila's a good one. But you can show a little bit, Sheila, just to reel them in. All right, that's all I want to say, Sheila. Let's go up to Candace.
Are we going up or down?
Up.
Up, okay.
Candace Freeman. Because Candace handed me one thing. Candace hurt my feelings almost. I had to pray.
A woman allows herself.
Where's Candace at?
Right there.
A woman allows, she has something along. The woman allows herself to be led by who is eligible, deserving.
Oh, that was the one that, okay.
Um,
No man is looking for the woman he isn't attracted to. As a single woman, I can only speak for myself, but I'm not trying to build the perfect man.
We are not.
However, I think I'm single because I've learned to wait and watch, and you'll see his intent. I can't even finish my comment. Y'all have me laughing so hard.
well, Candace, also, I wish, I hate to mention Mrs. Critic, but if I had my wife on here, she was like, you got to fish where the fish are. You
Right.
can't go to your local bar
That.
and expect to see that. And I tell women, if I were a woman and I was single and I had decent, I would travel places. Because the brother who's traveling, every city got a local pilot convention, doctor convention.
Oh, yeah, there's all these conferences where you can meet all kinds of people.
I just wouldn't go to the regular places.
No, don't go to the regular places.
Because the time we spent, and I tell you, men this, like he did, I tell young men, the time you spend, my wife has this saying, a man ain't never lose a woman chasing money, right? But he'll lose money chasing a woman.
Right, fair.
So, I tell young men, they mess up. They are the most simple creatures in the world if they don't have a Saterial or Kris or dad around.
Right.
They are the most lost if they only listening to a mom who's been through hell. So shout out to my single moms. I don't mean to come down on them, but if you look at what's going on in our society, you need a two-family household. Black people early 1900s had the least amount of children on the wedlock, the highest amount of people wed, and we were poor. But we didn't do this dumb stuff. Everything that happens now is not good for us. And I say this,
It's true.
men need women and women need men.
Yes.
And right now,
We need each other.
you got this social media, which we didn't get into. We're going to bring Saterial
We
back.
got to come back. We got part
We had
three.
this social media when guys and gals,
Yeah.
young people who are very influential think, well, I need to just do this and do this. Or women who think, if I dress like this, they're grown women our age who think, well, if I dress, this is all men want. Now, you don't know what men want because you never watched
Well, first of all men. That's a little.
Well, my point is, if you didn't grow up with a good man, you don't know.
That's
Period. And you need to ask someone, a girlfriend who had a dad who's securing herself, what do you look for? But if I've never seen how a man handles conflict or if a woman is yelling at him, maybe I act differently.
Right.
But I had a father who didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't curse. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was a man's man. And my mother, she wasn't questioning his ass. I was like, God damn, this dude's a G. But he didn't hit. He didn't hit us. But we knew when my father would stop the car when dudes were playing dice on the street. And I'd be like, could you drive off? You don't know what they're like. And he'd jump out. He was all, not Saterial type, but a bigger man. He'd be like, and they put, sorry, Mr. Levy. I was like, damn. But they haven't seen that.
Right.
And women haven't, I give women grief unintentionally. When some of them, I see the post. A man needs to do this. And I say, really? What man have you seen? Who told you that? Right now, it's a lot of women out here who are delusional.
Okay, we need to move this into a part 3. We need a part 3 on this. Trials, tribulations of modern dating.
Give Brother Saterial one last question.
No. We are 8:00. We are not 8. We are 7:07. I know. Well, we got
Gina B is. That's because you're not drinking today.
No, it isn't. I've got to take my father some food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Were you looking at my notes?
Well, I mean, you're the one that put the notebook in front of me. All right, yes. Go through your facts, Kris.
Saterial, we're about to close out.
Okay.
Because you dropped a lot of knowledge for it. I wasn't expecting all of this. Gina B questions me on our guests, by the way. Because I have had some people on here, and we're like, why do we bring
They're a little questionable.
him or her on?
Yeah.
But you did your thing.
Okay, get to the
Would
point.
you have any advice for men or women who are about to enter into the dating space for a long-term mate, meaning like husband and wife?
Female or male?
I said husband, either one. Either one. I'm just saying.
A male is pretty simple. I mean, because he has the advantage is like, 7-10 million more women than there are men, so they can be choosy. Women, I think women, and I said think, not feel. I think women have less options of being choosy. Simple fact is, biologically, as I said before, the other reason is this: because the older you get, your value begins to diminish. Once you hit about 40, it begins to diminish exponentially. Because remember, a man is still attracted to beauty and youth. And so you would ask him, you got to think and ask this question. Would a man be more attracted to the 21-year-old me as far as looks or the 45-year-old me? And so when you answer that question, you got to understand that you not only are competing with other 45-year-old women, and that's why I think women get it. They think he's 45, 50, I'm 45. That's something. No, you're competing with a man. You're competing with the 20-year-old, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So there's competition coming for women. And I think that women are scared to compete. And so they jump into that feminism role. Well, I don't have to do that. Man want me, he'll come get me. Well, they're not showing up because you wouldn't be talking like this. And I'm being honest. You have to be open to competing. Gina, you're married. Somehow you did something that was above and beyond those other women. How old are you, Gina? Roundabout?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I will say this. I'll say this because we have Gina B, and I jokingly say this. I told Saterial I met you at a party. And
we met at a party.
She's very smart. She's extremely fit. She's extremely successful. And a rarity, she acts very feminine, which I just don't see that combo out here.
And my husband is watching, so you can actually ask.
Shout out to Lee. Lee, I'll tell Lee. I asked Gina one time, remember this? I said, Gina B, you seem to have it all approximately. What is your credit score? I was blown away, Lee. Good job. Anyway,
my credit score is perfect.
My wife might want to marry you. Anyway, look, Saterial, we got to log up, but did you enjoy yourself? Would you come back? Because I tend to ramble.
That's okay. I did enjoy myself.
All right, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Jada B and I, for anyone who didn't, shout out to Melody Winston. I saw you. Hold on. Shout out to Mrs. Critic. I saw my wife chimed in. We will be back, people. Gina B and I do go answer all these questions. We'll make sure if you have a question for Brother Harris, put it on there. We'll show him where it is. He'll answer the questions. But we got to get out of here because Jake got to go, Gina B got to go, and I got to go. So we out of here like last year. Saterial, thanks. I'll reach out to you. Thank you for joining us, brother, on such a short notice.
Thank you for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen who joined us, Candace Freeman, thanks for joining the show. I hope you all enjoyed it. Come back next week, Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. I just told everybody how old I was. I'm 95 years old. Kris and Gina, we out of here like last year. Peace.
Talk to y'all. Okay, bye-bye.